If you want to get more wins in Warzone, you need to be confident in winning gunfights. If you want to get more kills in Warzone, you need to be winning gunfights. No matter where you are on the map, how far through the game you are, or what situation you're in, you need to know how to win each fight you're faced with, and also have the skills needed to get the job done. That's what this video is all about, showing you how to manipulate any situation to your advantage, as well as the skills that are crucial to coming out on top in Warzone. I'll be covering, demonstrating and explaining the skills that are the most important when it comes to killing enemies and wiping out teams. This guide and these tips and tricks apply to every platform and any mode, so whether you're going for wins or kills, on console or PC, this video is going to help you out. Timestamps are in the description for each section of this video. Let's start with a big one, positioning. It doesn't matter how accurate you are, whether you're a confident sniper or are the best 1v1 player on the planet. If a player has a better position than you, you are at a disadvantage. If you can learn how to consistently give yourself the best position, you'll find that gunfights get far easier, and you can rack up more kills as a result. Now, positioning can mean a lot of different things in a lot of different situations. There's no point me telling you a list of good spots to be in on the map, or particular buildings that I consider to be strong positions. What you need to do is learn to recognise the best position based on your current situation. There are lots of different things that can affect this. The current safe zone, the next safe zone, as well as the location of any enemy teams that you're aware of. With these in mind, here are a few rules that I use to determine what the best position to be in is. High ground is nearly always the best bet. When you're up high, you have a better view of enemy teams, and you're also much harder to hit. The route you can take to the next piece of good cover. It's always worth picking a secondary location that you can move to. If you're pushed by an enemy team and need to fall back, or the next ring isn't where you are, then you need to know your next move. Ideally, you want to make a rotation through cover. If this isn't possible, you're always better off having a planned route rather than just running around wildly. Where are the enemies? If you know an enemy team is in a better position than you, but are watching the area that you want to be in, don't risk it. Sometimes, the best position is to not be where your enemies expect. Clinging to the edge of zone, on the outskirts of the map, or maybe simply behind a fence. There's no point going to an easily defendable area if you just die before you get there. Is that position in the next zone? This applies more and more the further through the game you get. You're better off making one rotation further into the ring than you are making lots of smaller rotations. These take more time, which puts you in much more danger. Positioning is all about reading the environment that you're in and making the best judgment call. It's a skill that comes with game time and practice. Using this guidance though, you can make a calculated decision that will put you in the best spot possible. Positioning is all well and good, but if you're not accurate, it doesn't matter where you are. Accuracy is king in Warzone. This is common knowledge. What gets overlooked a lot though, is that accuracy is something that you can improve through lots of different ways. Some players might naturally be more accurate than others, but that doesn't mean you can't improve and get better than them, even if you're not as good initially. The reason accuracy is so important in Warzone is because it can take lots of bullets to pick up a kill. If a player has 8 plates, the fight can drag out for a long period of time. It's not enough to have good snap accuracy. You need to be able to lay down sustained fire that hits your target. Fortunately, there's plenty of things that you can do to improve this. Sensitivity. This has got to be something that you can control. I get that we all see pro players on their live streams playing on insanely high settings. It can be very tempting to think that ramping up your sensitivity will automatically make you a better player. But that's not the case. This is because higher sensitivities are far harder to manage. If you're on too high a setting, you can't control shots on distant targets, and at close range, you can easily find yourself losing track of enemies, as even the slightest movement can lead you off target. The higher the sensitivity, the harder it is to react to dynamic and fast-paced engagements, as you've got to worry about controlling your aim and view much more than other players. I've recently dropped down my sensitivity for this exact reason, and I've seen a big improvement. There's a bit of pride that comes with using a rocket high sensitivity. It looks cool and it can feel amazing to pick up kills on a sensitivity that most players can't control. But what's even cooler is getting more kills and winning more matches because you can manage your gunfire and have better sustained accuracy on lower settings. In-game attachments. Use a setup that matches your playstyle and skill. Use recoil reducing attachments that make the gun easier to handle. If you don't like the iron sights of a particular weapon, stick on a clear scope or sight that will let you keep track of your target more easily. The point of this is to be able to hit more bullets in order to deal more damage. Accuracy is, as much as anything else, something that improves over time. The more gunfights you get into, the less time it's going to take you to improve. The better you get, the less attachments you're going to need to help you out. The reward is being able to have more specialised attachments like lasers and so on. I promise you that it's far more rewarding to pick up more kills on a sensitivity you can control than anything else. Given that accuracy is so important, it's a very important skill to make yourself harder to hit. This is where player movement comes in. In Call of Duties of old, if you could drop shot, then you were basically impossible to kill. Now drop shotting still has a place in Warzone, and it can be very effective if done right. However, it's not good enough that you can consistently rely on it. It can leave you totally exposed. Plus, thanks to crossplay, you can easily find yourself up against a PC player who will have no trouble tracking you. Instead, I'd recommend the jump shotting technique. This is something you'll see me do constantly whenever I'm in a close range gunfight. It might look funny, but it's incredibly effective. Jumping around makes you much harder to track and can be a great tool for throwing off the aim of enemy players. It's also a very easy skill to learn, so I'd strongly recommend giving it a try. It doesn't leave you still and exposed, which is also a nice bonus. Movement can also incorporate other things, like how you run through and around cover. When you're pushing towards enemies, make sure you're using cover to protect yourself. You ideally want to keep your location hidden for as long as possible, in order to preserve the element of surprise. If you're backing away from a gunfight, move through cover to both protect yourself from damage, but also to make it harder for the enemy to keep track of you. There's no shame in running from a gunfight, then going back in when you're in a better position to pick up the kill. Never straight out into the open. Don't stay still for any longer than you have to, and try to make your movements unpredictable. Not only will this make you harder to kill, but it will make you a much bigger threat to your enemies. No two gunfights are the same in Warzone. Every player and every team will fight differently, which means you can never be sure what to expect from a gunfight. There will be times when you're at an advantage, as well as times when you're at a disadvantage. There's no hidden trick or secret tactic that will make you the best player in the game. Winning gunfights comes down to combining a variety of skills, as you've seen in this video, that each require practice and game time to perfect. The key is to work to continuously give yourself the upper hand in every gunfight that you're in. You don't need to be the best at any particular skill set in order to rack up high kills in Warzone. You just need to be a well-rounded player who can adapt to the various situations that this game presents. If you can adjust your playstyle, position and so on to the demands of your current environment, then you'll be able to continuously shift the advantage in your favour. This will take time and practice. There's no quick and easy method to success here. You just need to recognise your weaknesses and work on them. Hopefully, this video will have been able to point you in the right direction and has given you some good examples and pointers that you can use to improve your own Warzone performance.